Welcome back, everyone, to Pod of Thrones. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
And we are talking about The Witcher today. So let's welcome back our witchery Witcherton friend and lore master, Kevin.
Kevin.
Jennifer. Jason.
Jeff. Did you say Jason?
Awesome. Great
You
start.
didn't correct me. I was trying to make a joke. It doesn't work. Like, I don't know who you are.
Oh, it was a joke. Okay, so I shouldn't feel like 200 episodes in and no one still knows who I am. I mean, she's the reason to.
It's
she's
been
the
a couple
reason
weeks.
to come.
We were supposed to have been back like a week or so ago.
Well, yeah, but we did have to we had to take our little break there to talk about the Fallout series that is now in development because that's very precious to us as we are Fallout addicts.
Yeah.
So do you ever play the Fallout games, Kevin?
I have played Fallout 4 and I loved it because of the building. And so I thought about playing, the 78.
76, but go on.
I heard bad things about it. 76. What is it?
76.
That's 76.
Yeah, it's 76.
But I
would not
people
lie.
didn't like it, so I didn't get it.
Oh, but you could take our word for it.
I do. I believe you. I was thinking about playing because you guys said it was good. So
Yeah,
I was
man.
thinking about, but I don't have a Xbox.
Well,
I have a PlayStation
God, everything's so difficult.
and a PC, by the way.
Well, you could play on PC.
Yeah, but you guys aren't playing on PC.
You be with us in spirit, Kevin. Look, we, or at least I, cuss out the game every single time I play, but I still love it because even though it's got bugs, it's just a fun experience.
It wouldn't be Bethesda without the bugs.
Right. I mean,
Well,
come
I
on.
mean, you got to admit, every game has bugs.
You come to love some of the bugs, don't you? I mean, watching monsters like move towards you, but like none of their limbs are moving. They're just kind of gliding across the ground until they start,
Yeah.
hitting you.
Yes.
Like that stuff's just fun.
My favorite bug ever happened in Skyrim. I was out looking for stuff and there was a house right behind me and I had turned around to look for stuff and I turned around again and for some reason the game piled like 14 spiders on top of each other, like dead spiders, like right in front of the door.
Wow.
I was like, it like freaked me out for a second, but like I turned around and came back and they were gone.
Hmm.
It's like, what?
Magic.
That sounds like a perfect example of a Bethesda bug that
Yeah.
freaks you out, but you come to love it because you love the games. All right. Anyway, that's why we took a week away from The Witcher, but now we're back. So now we're going to talk about Witcher Season 1, Episode 5, Bottled Appetites. Sexy time. This has got to be the sexiest or horniest episode, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of everything we've seen so far. And I don't think there's any...
Yes.
There's no more sexy stuff to come. This is our climax, I guess you could say. And then after this, it's just going to get dark and sad and violent.
Yeah.
All right.
And the other good part about this is they're pretty much caught up in timelines almost.
Just
They
about.
might be about 5 years apart.
Well, gosh, Kevin, wouldn't you know it? I have a note on that. So last episode, as we had discussed, that was the episode where if you just really weren't paying attention to anything in the first 3 episodes and didn't realize that they were in separate timelines, Geralt and Yennefer and Ciri, they hit you over the head with it because Ciri is then a fetus at one point when Geralt is there in Sintra. Not to mention that Sintra's there and not on fire. So this episode leans into some of that. But yes, so according to the timeline, this episode, we have Yennefer and Geralt taking place in 1256, as those two now have found each other. And at that point, Ciri is about 6 years old. And,
Okay. I thought it would be about 10 because I think at one point Jaskier says, "Oh, how long it's been? A few years." And then he said later, what, another decade? So like, I thought they'd been separated for about a decade.
You
and
know
they'd
what?
Been together for
You
the
could be
Lost
right.
Prizes.
You could be right. We know that the official timeline on WitcherNetflix.com does have some flaws. So you might be right. But I have it as series about 6, and series timeline is taking place in 1263. So I had them being about 7 years apart in this episode.
Yeah, so it's getting close. They're getting close.
So even if the timeline is a few years off, we know it's close because we know Ciri's alive, like born. We know Ciri's born, no matter how you slice anything else. All right. Yes. So that was our official timeline, and there's really no other timeline stuff to talk about because we are getting so close together finally. So let's just talk about the episode itself.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with the non-sexy stuff? And then we'll just build up.
The Siri
to that
mouse
climb.
sack stuff.
Yeah, there's really nothing sexy going on with Siri and Mousak. I mean, those dryads. Some of the dryads. Well, there was a naked guy. He was pretty, wasn't he, babe?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. The creepy guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty.
But I didn't get to see all of him.
You almost did.
Almost.
Wait,
You
weren't
almost
you?
did.
Okay, well, let's start then. So that's the first thing happens. We meet, I wrote down the shapeshifter creep, but then we find out he's
It's called
called
a Doppler.
A Doppler,
It's called
yes.
Doppler.
Like the radar. Or like a doppelganger, which I have to imagine, since
Yeah.
doppelganger is of German derivation, and we're only talking about Poland here, maybe Doppler is just the direct translation from German. Okay. And he has a body part collection. Now that guy's standing around naked, almost like a Silence of the Lambs,
Yes.
Buffalo Bill kind of thing. But
Very
prettier.
much.
I think he was doing it because he was impressed with the body that he found.
He
'Cause said
loved
he
it.
planned on staying in it for a while.
Yeah.
He was going to have sex with himself.
Some of us would call that masturbation. Self-sex. He would have self-sex later that night.
Well, I mean, he's two different people, really. He's having sex with himself.
Yeah.
He's got
Okay.
somebody else inside the body.
Sure. He is not truly his own form. His own form he must not like his own form.
He must be grotesque.
Yeah, because he really enjoyed being pretty. Now, I seem to recall, correct me if I'm wrong, babe, I think you were screaming, pan down at the camera.
I was.
Because they were just like, if
Just about.
there was 1 centimeter away from seeing some dick neck,
Right.
but we didn't see any dick neck.
Just show me his penis.
Isn't that just
I think that's what I
unfair?
yelled.
Let's have the female perspective on this. We see boobs all the time, sometimes a little bush. You never really see like lips on camera, but
Boobs are not supposed to be a sexual thing,
but since they are,
but they're not supposed to.
well, I'm not arguing. We have a Kid Free Weekend episode devoted to freeing the tatas and how we're in support of that movement. So we know we're on the same page on this. Girls should be allowed to be shirtless whenever they want. But since that's not how
There
America
are
is,
places where they're allowed. Like in New York, you can walk around topless if you want to.
you can. That's true. The free the tata movement. What's it called? Well, it's not really called Free the Tatas, is it?
I don't remember.
Free
I
the
don't remember.
something. I don't know. Let's just say Free the Tatas. But that it worked there. They can do that now freely in public. But in any case, if you see it on TV, it's still kind of a big deal because we don't get much of that. But then sometimes you see a girl full frontal. You almost never see a boy full.
Well, that was the good thing about Game of Thrones is they didn't shy away from the male nudity too. They gave you, you got
some.
to see like
Theon.
bunch of
I think
people.
I saw Theon's
I
penis
thought
being eaten by.
you guys saw his.
We saw Tywin pooping.
Well, that's nothing. He was just sitting there.
But so far, no dick in this show.
We saw Christian Yaron.
Oh, right. Hodor's Wang Dong. Yeah,
yeah. See,
it's true.
so you
Yeah.
got quite a bit. I think the Witcher fandom is a little on your side with this, Jennifer, wanting a little more of the men stuff, because like if you go online and you look for anything, like they have like all the female Witcher things, like they have art of them naked, but what about Geralt? Where's his?
I'm going to start drawing that.
You're gonna start
There,
drawing.
you go for it.
Like naked Geralt fan art.
Yes.
I think you would be popular.
Though I will tell you something that there was something sexier than porn that Henry Cavill put out recently.
Yes,
Did you
I
see
was
it?
just thinking of that myself. There's no way Jennifer saw this, but why don't you tell us about it?
No, what is it?
It is Henry Cavill. He's in his house and he's putting together a gaming PC like on like Twitch or something. Like he was like streaming the whole thing as he puts it together.
Mm-hmm. He's wearing a
So
tight
just watching
t-shirt.
him, like it's his shirt, with his muscles bulging, doing the PC gaming was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, which I just like to just say quickly, just fuck you, Henry Cavill, because us nerds have been putting together computers forever and no one's ever gotten wet over it. But there are girls all over Twitter just changing their pants after watching this Henry Cavill puts a computer together video.
Oh, now I
so
have to watch it.
Just fuck you, bro. This is not fair. Like the dude looks like that, but he's also a diehard gamer. Just fuck you.
You could be like that. You could
Could
just
I?
work out all the time when you're not gaming.
All right, just get back to.
Be my coach.
I wanted to note that Dopplers, they talk about it, are usually good nature and helpful. So this
What?
one is a little weird.
Well, he is
Oh.
being helpful
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say, like,
the
this
bad
dude's-
people.
Yeah, but
he's
they're
collecting
usually
body
like helping
parts.
people, like not killing them and collecting their body parts.
So in the Witcher universe, they aren't necessarily monsters, but this one is definitely some kind of like serial killer.
Yes.
He's a
got
serial Doppler.
All right. So anyway, the Nilfgaard dude whose name they really don't tell us in the show but once, so I forgot it. But anyway, Nilfgaard dude.
Oh, but hey, I did have a note about that as well.
Yes.
When he talks, I had the closed captions on just to see, when I mention people's names in case I missed them.
Yep.
And they actually call him on the closed caption Black Knight instead of giving him a name.
I saw that, but in episode 1 or 2, they did put his name down, which of course I just looked up while you were talking, and it's Cahir. But I was looking for it during this episode, and you're right, it only said Black Knight in the subtitles, which I was like, fuckers, you gave him a name at one point. I know you did. But no one has ever spoken his name in dialogue in the show. So Cahir. He shows up and hires this Doppler for some kind of job, and the Doppler dude's just creepy and naked, but yeah, okay. But he takes the job. I guess he needs money or just doesn't want to get murdered. One of the two. Okay, so that brings us over to Fringilla and Mousesack. Mousesack gets pulled out of some sort of trailer. I don't know. But inside the trailer was something called oh, god damn it. I took it from the subtitles. Dimeridium?
Dimeritarium.
Yeah, one of those. Which I guess is some kind of
The
metal
substance that neutralizes them.
Right,
basically.
it takes away magic powers. Now, I don't know if it blocks chaos, like lead blocks X-rays, or maybe something like that. I don't know, but apparently it doesn't feel good.
It's like kryptonite.
It is, yeah. I mean, he reacted to it like it made him sick. He threw up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just. I feel like they threw that in there so that we would know it's a thing. Actually, it might come up before this season's done. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to talk about that now. But I feel like it's right there. They're putting it in our faces so that they can refer back to it later. All right. Now, Fringilla, before she didn't do anything really in this episode, but she did also mention how Mousesack screwed up by not finding his higher purpose. She got a higher purpose from the White Flame.
What's that?
Is that the name of the Nilfgaardian emperor? We still don't really know what happened in Nilfgaard. Anyway, so the Doppler comes, finds Mousesack, takes his form, and Mousesack tries warning them. Again, I think these are important quotes. You don't know what she is.
Right.
Not who she is.
What?
Didn't we have someone else in a previous episode say, "What are you?"
Yes.
To her? Was that
What
the
are
tree?
you, girl?
Or was that something else?
Yeah, the tree.
Oh, was it the tree?
I don't remember now. But something asked her, "What are you?" And so Mousesack is, you don't know what she is. Does Mousesack know what she is? I don't know. But apparently she's special. But Cahir says she will end up where she belongs. So he thinks he knows what she is, whatever that means. And then Mousesack gets killed. A slow run through the heart.
He does.
Yep.
That was very slow.
Yeah, looked uncomfortable.
Sure did.
Like right up, like under the sternum. So
Right.
you can kind of like scoop upwards into the heart.
And you could hear cracking.
Ugh, slurping. Anyway, so there's a Doppler now. He looks like Mousesack. Cool. Over in Broccolon Forest.
Broccolon.
We were just talking earlier about how our kids will eat steamed broccolon, but it's not really something I like.
Right.
Yeah, I prefer raw broccolon myself.
I like steamed, but not overcooked because then it starts to stink.
Yeah.
Broccolon.
No one wants stinky broccolon.
I like it with cheese on top of it.
Oh, yeah. Cheesy broccolon is delicious. So over in Broccolon Forest, the Dryads are talking about Ciri. They're having their own little meeting in their own little Dryad language. They know who Ciri is, and they got that information from Shan Kyan, which I'm assuming is the tree. But they didn't really put that together for us. That's got to be the tree. But they know about her ties to Sintra. They know her name. And then they know that Nilfgaard's been sniffing around. They killed a couple of spies. And so they're trying to figure out they might need Ciri to survive. Now, is that they trade Ciri or they use Ciri? We don't know. But they think they need to keep Ciri around. And when they go tell Ciri this, the head Dryad lady, she did have another quote that I just had to write down, just a real quick one. The Sword of Destiny has two edges. I feel like the Sword of Destiny came up in one of our conversations the other day, but I don't, or a previous week, but I don't remember what it was.
I think they just refer to Destiny, and they just have a word, a saying for Destiny itself.
No. I just remember what it was. It was last episode where we met the tree. there was the picture at the beginning of the episode that had the picture of the tree. It was like the tree, like an etched in metal, but it had a sword.
Yeah, with the broken thing.
It was a broken sword. And you, Kevin, you had looked up what it was. And in the description you read to us, you said lying at its base is the Sword of Destiny.
Yes, that's right.
So the Sword of Destiny must be a real thing with these Dryad people. Anyway, Ciri has to choose. Does she stay or does she continue her search? And then while she's thinking about it, Doppler Sack arrives. And he shows up. He's there to get Ciri. She gives him a hug. He seems to be enjoying that because he's a creepy weirdo that likes kids.
Yeah, did you see him? He like grabbed her hair and was like, ooh.
I remember Kahir had to offer to pay him extra to not do bad things to Ciri to bring her back intact.
Children are my favorite.
Anyway, so that's it. That's really about it. He name drops.
I did want to point one thing out.
Yes.
And, I remember when this episode aired, it bugged a lot of people, and it was that when Ciri and Dara had arrived, they made them drink the water to make sure they didn't have any like ill intent for the forest. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that to Mousesack. He just came in. So I was wondering if maybe they only did it for them because they were planning on staying and he wasn't, or they already knew he was trouble and just wanted to get Ciri out of there because they didn't like her. That one general did not.
Maybe they would have made him drink if it was a chance he was going to stay.
Right. I think maybe a little bit of each. Like they some of them at least wanted to be rid of Ciri, but they had just captured him on the edge of the forest. He surrendered willingly, yada yada, but he wasn't going to stay. Well, okay, so I think one way or another, the answer to this is maybe both, right? Like he wasn't necessarily planning on staying, but also some of the Dryads wanted to get rid of her, wanted to get rid of Ciri. So it seemed to be like a best of both worlds situation for them. Why try to accidentally kill him?
Now, what does the Sword of Destiny has to edges mean? I mean, is it kind of you're fucked both ways?
Maybe.
No, it means like, yes, it may bring, greatness for you, but there's also a price to pay.
Which could be how I take it. I mean, if you stay here, you're fucked because you don't get to fulfill your real destiny, but you'll be safe. But if you go out there, you're not safe. But whatever it is that's waiting for you could be important.
Kind of like the stupid law of surprise.
You hate that law of surprise, man.
I do. It is the dumbest thing ever.
Okay. All right. So anyway, after all the creepy stuff, yada, yada, yada.
Now, wait a second.
What?
Those people in the forest knew about the law of surprise. They were even like, we got to follow the law of surprise. They don't even have the same God. But they're going to follow the law of surprise.
So they all follow destiny.
Right. It's beyond gods. There's no religion behind law of surprise. It's just like, it's like, I don't know, it's like gravity, but they figured out that there's a rule to this world that says
it's the law of surprise.
Right.
The rule is, okay, so gravity and law of surprise are equal.
Yes. It's on that same level of like physics. It's how the universe works.
I understand now.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
What were we watching the other day? Oh, we were watching a Harry Potter movie, and your son kept asking, like, well, how is this possible? How can they do this time travel? And shouldn't they be over there when they're doing the time travel thing with and how could this be? And the answer is just, it's magic, bro. You can't explain like how this person's not dead when the maze like grabs them and sucks them underground. And, it's magic. That's all you can know.
In his mind, the guy was dead, and he was like, probably had to come to terms with that.
Yeah. So, magic explains everything. So in the end, I wrote down, he name drops Geralt and says he knows where to find him, and Ciri Ciri was told, go find Geralt. Mousesack was the one that told her that, wasn't he?
Yes.
Okay. So now Mousesack's like, I found Geralt. Come with me. I'll take you to him. So I guess that's a pretty good cover story. Yeah.
Get into this van. That she was dying.
I have a puppy. Sure, bring your friend.
So they're going to go, and then Dara gets to go with because they're family.
Right.
Is that kind of the explanation?
Yep.
They're family now. All right.
I guess.
Yeah. I don't think Doppler Sack wanted that, but
he seemed a little bit pleased.
It's another kid he can eat later.
Mm-hmm.
Or do whatever.
Be inside of? I don't know.
Ew. That could take a lot of meetings with that guy. I don't know which one's worse. Okay, so that was the Ciri storyline. Now, before we move on to the Geralt and Yennefer storyline, I would like to turn it over to Lore Master Kevin to tell us about the opening symbol. I assume you've done your research on that one, Kevin. We took naked bodies from it.
All right, so the symbol was a female and male figure intertwined, overlaying on a stylus amphora. So I guess the meaning is Yennefer and Geralt, like the uterine amphora symbol she painted on her abdomen before she, tried to, I guess, get pregnant or something.
Yep. Well,
there you go.
Well, she was healing her uterus. Is there a connection? I'm trying to Google it.
No, she was trying to feel her uterus with a gen. Or her non-uterus.
She was trying to become the vessel herself. But basically it's just a female and male figure intertwined, overlaying the amphora.
Right. I want to talk about the amphora thing later. I'm looking right now just at a basic Google search to see if there's some connection between amphora, which is a ancient pottery style, and like a uterus, but I'm not seeing anything like that, but it sure did look like... Anyway, well, let's come back to that. Let's remember that. Put a pin in the uterus. All right, so Geralt and Yennefer's story. We start with Yennefer talking to some creepy dude named Hemet. Hemet, a town in California. So he's a creepy dude, apparently formerly one of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers or something like that, but no longer. He's gone rogue, she's gone rogue, and she's paying him for some kind of treatments that will get her what she wants.
What could that be? That guy literally ripped her uterus out of her body.
We think.
Well, I mean, she said so later that, just because you don't know how to fix it doesn't mean there's not magic out there that can.
Maybe he just cut the tubes.
Well, he pulled it all the way out. I think we saw it on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a fleshy thing. No one ever said this is the uterus, but it was probably the uterus, right?
But I mean, that's basically what she was saying in the conversation she has later is, I'm going to, keep looking until I find an answer, even though you don't think there is one, because this world is magical. This world is vast, and you don't have all the answers.
Right.
Now, whatever this dude and his treatments are, they cost a lot. So she needs to find a way to make money, and with his advice, with Hemet's advice, Yennefer sets up a shop in a nearby town, where we then see her help a dude get a boner. But
she's up solving ED.
Yes.
Erectile dysfunction.
She's the new town fertility doctor with a line around the corner. I mean, it was like when I went to the DMV the other day. Like just, so many people wanted to get boners through Yennefer. And apparently that's not
They weren't all there for boners. They were there for other remedies too.
Maybe. But, if she has a specialty, she's really good at giving guys boners.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at her.
I love the exchange she has with that girl, though, where she's like, okay, come up with a word. Kumquat. Oh, you come up with that quickly.
Right.
That's a good word. That's a perfect safe word. So then this guy comes in. I guess his name is Bo Barent. It probably doesn't matter, but he's in charge of the town. He's the mayor of the town, and he wants his fair share of taxes. Boy, everybody's always about taxes these days. And Yennefer doesn't want to pay the taxes, so she just gets willingly arrested instead. I feel like she could have worked with the guy, but whatever.
It was in her plan.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, maybe it was part of her grand plan to get arrested in the first place. Okay, so Meanwhile, Jaskier just happens to stumble upon Geralt out in the wilds. Geralt is fishing or something.
He probably heard he was nearby or something.
He must have, right? Yeah, he's been looking around. Much time has passed. We don't know exactly how much, but we know it's been quite a while because they talk about that.
I mean, he's aged some. You can tell that
he's got a little bit of gray.
Lighter. Jaskier's.
Geralt looks the same.
Oh, yeah, he never ages.
Geralt tells us he's looking for a djinn and that he can't fucking sleep. So he's tired.
Right.
The djinn can help him take a nappy poo. Jaskier brings up, maybe there's some kind of thing going on here. Maybe it's psychological because you feel like a shitheel because you ditched this baby, or maybe it's just the law of surprise itself. But somewhere along the line, Jaskier thinks it's related to the birth of Ciri and how Geralt's not there with her.
Yes.
I concur.
That did not make Geralt happy, though.
No.
So they find this little bottle, and I don't know if that was an amphora. Maybe it was. But it had a wizard's seal on top of it. And they fight over the bottle because Jaskier's being kind of a dick. And the bottle flies open and there's nothing inside. But is there?
There is.
A wind kicks up and Jaskier thinks, that's the djinn. I'm going to make some wishes like a dope. So the key note here, I think, that turns out to be important, was that while they're struggling over the bottle and then the bottle breaks, then Geralt yells at Jaskier, "I just want some damn peace." And then he cuts his arm while picking up pieces of the broken bottle.
I don't think he actually cut his arm, though. I think it cut his arm because he had the wish.
Right, but that was the red herring. So he made a wish, apparently, to get some damn peace. And next thing you know, Jaskier's throat closes up. He can barely talk. He's bleeding profusely from his mouth. Looks pretty.
I think the gen works. You just have to say what your deepest desire is out loud. Not like I wish. I think just,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very much so. The djinn was definitely listening and did what you asked. It reminds me a lot of shit that used to happen back in like old D&D campaigns, where if you found like a ring of wishes and you were like, I wish I had 1,000,000 gold pieces. And then depending on who's the dungeon master, but some might just be like, okay, well, you walk into the next room and there's 1,000,000 gold pieces waiting for you. Whereas other dungeon masters would be like, okay, well, 1,000,000 gold pieces fall out of the sky and land on your head and you're dead now. Yes, congratulations, you got 1,000,000 gold pieces. This was like that. Like the dungeon master of the Witcher show is a dick. So Jaskier now is fighting for his life. Can't barely talk. So they go to the nearby town and they find an elf doctor. He says, I can't fix this. It's magic. And he points them to a locked up Yennefer.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
They're going to meet. But first, we do have a scene with Tissaia and Yennefer. Tissaia shows up in this place where Yennefer is. It's the mayor's house, right? Or looks like a castle. But the mayor's house, Tissaia comes in, chit-chats with Yennefer a little bit. She wants Yennefer back. Oh, she mentions Fringilla. This is the other part where Fringilla comes up.
Yep.
Fringilla took the Nilfgaard spot, as we know, and has helped the rightful heir return peace to their land. So that was partially Fringilla's doing. Now, whether she was involved in the actual revolution or not, maybe, but we know that there was that old horny Nilfgaard king that was letting his people starve. Now there's a new guy. I really hope we get the full story someday.
Things are getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Gotta admit it.
Yeah, Nilfgaard got strong. I mean, you can't deny that. And then once you're strong, and then you think about how people used to laugh at you, and then you get pissed. Huh. And Tissaia says that Yennefer isn't going to find the cure she's looking for. That's when, as you were saying, Kevin, Yennefer hits back like, you don't know everything, bitch. But also the Brotherhood is getting mad at her for doing her own thing. So that could come back to haunt Yennefer someday. But Yennefer does not seem concerned. And she does not want to come back to Aretuza in what I assume was some kind of teacher's assistant role. So Yennefer just rebukes Tissaia completely. Tissaia eventually gives up and leaves. All right. So Geralt gets Jaskier to the mayor. Is it Jaskier or Jaskier? Fuck.
Jaskier.
Is it
I think you
Jaskier?
call him Jaskier every time. But
I don't know.
I like that his name's Dandelion in the game. We should just call him that.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I haven't met him yet in the game. I haven't played in since we last recorded, actually. I've been busy. All right. Well, you say Jaskier, babe? Jaskier sounds
I think
better.
it's Jaskier.
Geralt gets Jaskier to the mayor's castle. They find the mayor. He's naked and weird. Okay.
I'm glad they didn't pan down on that one.
Oh, what?
I don't want to see old Gong Gongs.
A slightly tubby
That would be the
old
time
man
they did
can't
it.
have a nice dick? I actually take offense to that, personally. I'm not as old as that guy yet, but still.
Well,
I will be someday.
I'm gonna like yours.
Well, you sound like it. I feel like I'm about to get traded up for
Just
a
to want
newer
to see
model.
his. He's like my dad.
Ugh.
I know.
I just hope you never feel that way about me. That's all. All right, so they keep wandering around because the mayor's no help, and they find a fog machine and an orgy. Those were the two things of note, I thought. And Yennefer's just like supervising an orgy, like a true cult leader, just like not even participating in the fun, just watching everybody fuck. I guess no one in the town is worthy of her.
She feels powerful.
I'm sure she does. There were some interesting positions, let's say. Yeah. Well, the only one, look, I can't not remember it because it was right there while Geralt and Yennefer were talking, but it was like one guy's holding up a girl and then the girl's like up in the air because this guy's holding her up with her legs spread. And then there's another guy did you not notice this? Your eyes are getting wider. I bet Kevin noticed this, right, Kevin?
I noticed it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was paying attention to the people.
Oh, right. Sure.
I was.
Whatever. Well, you were looking at Geralt, probably.
Yes,
that helps.
I was.
But right behind Geralt, maybe you should go back and look at this.
Oh, I'll be surprised.
It's a tripod situation here. So you got a guy holding up a girl, like her torso, her shoulders, and then her legs are spread in the air, and the guy is holding, like her legs are on this other guy's shoulders, and he's eating her out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a position. And what's the point in that? Just lay down, people.
We're getting old, babe. We can't put out that kind of energy
That
anymore.
doesn't sound fun.
It's like crowd surfing, but there's also oral sex.
Oh,
Yeah. You get
okay.
that, right? Anyway, so it's the first meeting between Geralt and Yennefer. Hooray, they finally got together. That's one major plot point down. They talk about the djinn. Yennefer seems intrigued by the whole djinn thing, but then she goes and heals Jaskier off camera. But she does take care of business, so that's cool. Geralt has to, he's going to owe her big for this one way or another. Turns out Geralt smells terrible. I feel like you saw that one coming, babe.
Oh, he always smells bad.
Well, what about right out of the bathtub?
He probably still faintly smells bad. He doesn't look clean. Even while sitting in the bath, he doesn't look clean.
It didn't really seem like he washed his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because
He
it's a
probably should
wig.
wash his hair. And I don't know, he didn't have like a loofah or anything.
No, he was just sitting in his dirty water.
Oh, but maybe it's like The Walking Dead, where I feel like after a couple seasons of that show, everybody's just used to the smell of rotting corpses in the air, so it doesn't matter anymore. Maybe it's like that, where everybody in the world smells a little bit like a horse, so it's okay after Geralt takes a bath, and he's just like normal.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Although Yennefer doesn't smell like a horse.
No, she does
doesn't ride a
not.
horse. She just can teleport from place to place. Anyway, I think we lost Kevin. There's too much sex talk.
No, I'm still here. I'm just trying to picture. Jennifer, she's always so concerned about the smell. I'm just wondering, maybe you might have a problem.
No, that's why I like him. He
Point
doesn't
out.
smell.
Did you hear that, everybody in the audience?
Or maybe in the
I don't
past she's
smell.
had the issue and you don't have the issue. That's why she loves you so much.
I have a very strong sense of smell.
Has that been an issue
Well,
before?
so then
before Jeff?
the
in
next thing we found
the
out
BJ
is
era?
that Yennefer had used some type of smells to cast a spell on Geralt, so that would work for you.
Oh yeah, if Yennefer used gooseberries and lilac next to Jennifer would be hit even harder than Geralt was hit because of the sensitive super smeller.
Yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Be all over that.
So anyway, Geralt takes a bath. Yennefer gets in the bath with him. Lots of boobs and pecs. Nothing downstairs really for either of them. Just for Nudity Watch 2020 for anyone that cares. So they kind of take a bath together, which I have to say, really interesting first date.
Yes. Turn around, sit back to back.
Back to back.
She couldn't wait.
You know what's
I
happening.
guess they got to shit. There's not that much water.
Okay, so as they're talking, Geralt figures out that she wants the djinn, and that makes him not so happy. Oh, well, maybe this was after the bath. She was starting to set up for the whole djinn capturing thing, and he figures it out, and then she's like, hey, come here, big boy, I smell like lilac and gooseberries, and he's like, lilac and gooseberries, and then he gets, knocked out, or something. He blacks out, because he apparently does not actually fall unconscious, because he wakes up in jail, and it turns out he went on a rampage around town, which is super fun and totally not stolen from a quest in Skyrim.
Or Fallout.
Or Fallout, yeah. I guess it's maybe a common theme, is the hero that gets knocked unconscious and has an adventure and has to figure out what it is later. Okay, so meanwhile...
It's a pretty common theme, because I was playing a game,
Yes.
Kingdom Deliverance.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the exact same thing. One of the best quests on that game was when you get to do on a rampage through the city with the priest. It's a drunken night out, and it's so much fun. But it's in a lot of games.
Yes. Okay. Well, so they didn't steal it. Fine. It's just a common trope. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So while he's in jail, Yennefer starts her ritual. So here we go. What I wrote down was she paints a uterus and fallopian tubes on her belly, but it's not. It's an amphora.
Well, it's shaped like a uterus and fallopian tube.
She painted them right where the uterus and fallopian tubes would go, right? So
Right. But it's also a vessel for the djinn.
So if she took
Her
that
body.
wizard
She was using her
seal,
body to be a vessel.
you could take the wizard seal and kind of use it like a diaphragm to hold the djinn
I
inside
guess.
you.
I have
Wow.
no clue.
That
What the
must have
plan
been how the
was.
ritual was going to end.
That's what she was going to do.
Oh my God, we figured it out. Way to go, team.
Okay. Just pop it in there. But then the problem comes if it's popped in, how are you supposed to get pregnant?
The djinn is the baby.
He can't come out until she has a uterus again. You stay in there,
Oh,
mister.
okay.
You're grounded until I have a uterus. Now, you think about what you've done. Yep.
Uh-huh.
That's got to be it. Oh, could you imagine, though, like if he was in there for a couple years and then finally he's allowed to come out? It would be just like that scene of the smoke monster coming out of the Red Woman in Game of Thrones,
Oh, yeah.
like clawing his way out of her uterus finally.
Right.
What was it? Oh, so she paints on herself, and then she tries to force Yaskir to make his final wish so that the djinn would be there and then she could capture it.
Mm-hmm.
Great, but that's not how it winds up working, is it? Geralt is being beaten savagely by this one dude, and I gotta say, I'm a little unimpressed that handcuffs were enough for that guy to have the upper hand on Geralt. I don't know what that's all about. But Geralt wishes for the guy to burst or something, and it happens. The guard explodes, and all of a sudden Geralt has a second cut on his arm. So, haha, there's the twist. Yaskir, he didn't get his first two wishes, which would have been involved like one guy dying and another girl like falling in love with him. But instead, that stuff never happened. Geralt got his wishes. He wished for peace and quiet, so Yaskir's throat. And then he wished for that guy's head to explode, and it happened. So now he has one wish left. So, Geralt gets out of prison. He goes finds Yennefer. He figures out she wants to be the djinn's new vessel, and it could kill her, but she's like, I'm going to do it anyway because I'm the toughest bitch around. And he says, what's your wish? I'll make your wish for you. And she says, I wish to have everything. Couldn't she have just said, I want a uterus? A functioning set
I
of...
know. How do you give her everything?
She's like Jafar in Aladdin, right? Like, just having the wishes wasn't going to be enough. He had to become a djinn so he'd be all powerful.
Right. Yes. Jafar.
Yennefer needs to watch more movies.
Yennefer.
All right, so she is clearly dying, Geralt thinks. So he makes his last wish, whatever that is. We don't find out today. Then the djinn goes away. He dissipates. So with the wishes gone, he is no longer trying to get inside he can't be captured inside Yennefer anymore. But the house collapses. Yennefer portals them out, and they wind up in the orgy room. People think they're dead for a few minutes, but it turns out they're not. She's very mad at losing the djinn, but Geralt's so hunky, they fuck.
She can't help herself.
Yeah.
And I think he made her like realize she was being an idiot.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe she's grateful to be alive. She just had a very intense experience.
I mean, it's The Witcher.
Right. I mean, no one can resist the seductive powers of The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
It's the yellow eyes.
I know I can't.
Maybe I should block that video on YouTube. Don't let Jennifer watch it.
Maybe I should look it up right now.
PC building has never been so sexy. Damn you, Henry Cavill. That's kind of it. Did we miss anything, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think that was it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, them like watching them and stuff was kind of funny as they, because the elf was in love with Yennefer.
Right.
That was kind of funny to watch his reaction. But
Yeah.
He knows she's
it
out of his
seemed
league.
like Yaskir was getting some notes on what to try. But then
Yeah.
Geralt went to sleep like he was trying to do from the very beginning.
Oh my God, that's right.
Right.
How did I not connect that? I even wrote down like he falls asleep after the sex.
What was his wish?
Yeah.
You don't remember?
No one knows.
Well, I know that it was something to do with her, but what was it?
Well, I don't want to tell you.
Did we find out?
We find out next episode.
Okay, well, I'll wait.
Yeah. The thrill of his wish only lasts for a day until he fucks everything up. So we'll find out what his wish is soon.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool. That's the episode. I mean, it was
It was all the sex and more.
we had to flush all the sex out of our system because there's like nothing but action and violence and darkness coming up for these final 3 episodes. Now, speaking of that, we have 3 more episodes in this season to do, but when next we meet, it's going to be to talk about San Diego Comic-Con 2020, which is not really a Comic-Con, but it's kind of a Comic-Con.
Common on 2020.
Common on. Was that yours that you started calling it that?
Yep.
All right. So it's not a Comic-Con anymore. We're not going to San Diego. We're not going to be at the convention center standing in endless lines. Yeah, I won't miss the lines.
I will miss the hotel. Unless we got a bad one, then I won't miss it.
Yeah, last year's hotel was nice. Yeah. But there's something, I don't think we ever talked about this on the podcast, or at least not recently, but there's always been this thing. You go to a convention, doesn't have to be San Diego Comic-Con, but we used to talk about this stuff when I was younger too, when we would go to Gen Con, the big gaming convention in the Midwest. There's this thing that gets, they call it Con Crud, which is any one of a number of illnesses that get spread around throughout these crowds of people because you're all very close together. Hygiene tends to take a dip, and just germs spread. Whether it's, sharing chairs, like someone gets up from a chair, then you sit down and they were coughing and sneezing and touching the chair afterwards, and then you touch the chair. Who knows? I mean, just people breathing next to you. But there's always easy illness spreading at these conventions anyway, and now COVID's happening. So it's good that Comic-Con's canceled.
But sad.
Even if it's a bummer. Right. So they are putting the convention online. There, if you go to comic-con.org, that's the official Comic-Con website. And if you go there, you can see what they have in store. There's a whole schedule up for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't think there's anything on Wednesday, but just off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure. But they have a whole schedule of events, panels, discussions, famous people, not famous people, all sorts of things, just like they do every year. But this time, all the panels are going to be on YouTube, either pre-recorded and broadcast or live streamed, one of the two. I don't think we're going to see a lot of ability for audience members to ask questions, but we will see a lot of moderated panels and discussions. There may or may not be any opportunities for interviews. There hasn't been a lot coming through the press mailboxes yet. I think a lot of places have just decided not to bother. I'm pretty sure Disney and Marvel, they don't have anything going on here this year. I haven't heard anything big from DC, a lot of the nerdy stuff we watch, but I know there is going to be some stuff that's in our wheelhouse, whether it's things our family enjoys, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Superstore, or we might see some stuff from The Witcher, maybe HBO. I don't know 100% for sure yet, but I'm keeping an eye out. I'm going to sift through all the content over the next few days, and we're going to try to find some, panels to quote unquote attend, next weekend. And we will not bother recording them because they're already going to be online. But we'll try to find some interesting ones to bring you guys some key notes, some bullet points, and then link to the main thing if you want to watch the entirety. But we'll see what Comic-Con has to offer. If we can find some cool exclusive stuff, we will bring it to you with whatever press power we can muster. But there's not a lot this year, so we'll see. But that's going to be the focus of next week. And then after that, we will return to finish our rewatch of The Witcher.
Yep.
You can reach us, Jeff at potofthrones.com or at potofthrones on Twitter.
Jennifer at potofthrones.com or at KidFreeDweekend on Twitter.
And if you want to say anything to Kevin, we read his mail for him.
Yes, I paid him good money for that.
Yeah. We provide a good service, and he pays us well, so it works out. Yeah.
All right.
So that's it. That's it, everybody. We will be back soon. We love you. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the ComNotCon or whatever we're calling it next week. We'll see what happens. Bye.
Right. See ya.
Toss a coin to your podcast.
Yes, please.